You hear that, Caldor? Life is an adventure.
Shoot me now.
Welcome to the HGC as we're gearing up for game number 3. Dude, you in that Stitches trailer. It's a good trailer, but it's not
fantastic.
That good.
Stitches and Muradin, that's probably my 2 favorites. First of all, we need more playtime, that's number 1. And also we need Muradin, as he says, kicking some ass.
I mean, I hate to keep bringing this guy up, but I don't think we've seen the Gazlo trailer in a long time. So, Josh, maybe we should get on top of that. All right, guys, game number 3. Battleground time, battleground time. Let's go, 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 cut. Yeah, Caldor cut off. Game number 3, we're going to Infernal Assurance, picked up by Team Liquid. Don't you dare pout. Stop pouting. That's not a good look for you.
Sneaking in the Gazlo.
I don't think I've ever seen him pout. Look at this. He's an adult male pouting on a desk. All right, game 3.
Yeah.
Infernal Shrines. You excited?
No Gazlo.
No Gazlo. That won't be happening on this battleground. Too hard.
But yeah, I am excited because I like what we are seeing from Team Liquid here today. And I also have to say, they might be down 2 maps, but the Ducks are really bringing the fight to Team Liquid. They're really doing well here. They're looking much better than in the previous games that we've seen from them. So stop grinning like a maniac because you snuck the Gazlo in there. He's so happy with himself. You should see him. It's really just, Tim is just sitting there just like, oh yeah, that was good. I just did it.
It's not my inner monologue.
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening.
That's not what's happening.
It is. Illidan being banned by the Ducks, respecting the Darkmog, and Sport Billy also respected here as we see Medivh banned out. So the bans that we're currently watching are definitely target bans. We've all seen Darkmog on Illidan, and we know, of course, how good Sport Billy is on the Medivh. So from that on, we are starting things off once again with Genji.
Genji being picked up for the Ducks. So Sport Billy will get to show off his Genji here in this game. Earlier, we did have it getting played by Hasuabs, which was a treat to see. Typically, we see Nurok playing the Genji, but Hasuabs, he did pretty well during his game in game number 1.
Yeah. They have quite a bit of overlap in their hero pool, and I like it. And back to the normal opening here. Uther and an Uberak. At this point, it really sometimes feels that our draft has become a bit like chess. We have very clean-cutter picks for the teams usually. We have in the meta, I would say, roughly 10 heroes that are super high priority for the teams, depending on which team plays. Yeah. And then, depending, of course, on first pick or second pick, you always get the same opening here. So it seems this is a bit like chess. So let's start with the Sicilian here. I
mean, typically here at the HGC, we try to tell you guys how you can think about the game and, of course, try to expand your roster and keep moving forward, etc., etc. But right now, this top 3 that you see right now, these are heroes that are very valuable to pick up in Hero League. If you have the option to pick them, pick it up. Especially if you see the opposing team get Genji. For the love of Caldor, please pick up Genji, or not Genji, Uther at least. You cannot give the opposing team Genji and Uther because you are actually doing a disservice to your team. So that's been stated on this patch at least for the first 3 slots.
I love the for the love of Caldor, yes.
For the love of Caldor.
Please keep me sane.
When you go to pick your first picks, think, what would Caldor do? And then you pick your hero and move forward. Right now, if you see Genji on the opposing team, pick up Uther, simply because you don't want to have Genji and Uther, that synergy of the Divine Shield into Dragon Blade, wiping your team.
I'm so proud of you right now.
I lost like 3 or 4 games because Uther and Genji were on the opposing team, so I kind of...
They grow up so fast.
I went full PSA. There you go.
You went full anti-snowflake. I'm so proud right now.
For the first 3 slots, I don't think you can be a snowflake. For the first 3 slots, you may want to pick up some things that are good for your team. Malthael and Graven picked up for the Playing Ducks, and the Playing Ducks have started to adjust here. They've gone a little bit less healer-based, and they're going a little bit more aggressive on the damage on their side when it seems like Uther gets grabbed by the opposing team. Yeah. Analysis. Just trying to get us back on track here, and Caldor just wants to be so proud right now. He's like a little proud little dad or something. He's like, oh, look at him, he's growing up.
I don't know what to say. So in Infernal Shrines, we have Malthael. Yeah. So as we said before, you want me to get back on track and then you start giggling the entire time.
I'm looking at my monitor. It's a nice monitor.
It definitely is. One of the reasons why Malthael is actually really cool here is we talked a bit about it a bit early on already. First of all, the Ducks have a really high priority on Malthael now. We've seen him on every single map played by him, and normally we had a big effect in the team fights. But another reason why he really excels on Infernal Shrines is Malthael wants to be in the team fights. And on Infernal Shrines, you have a single objective on the map, so therefore it's way more likely that you get that value in the team fights. But we have also for Team Liquid something where they are bringing Stitches and a Nuburak, so both of them. So there's a lot of isolation potential, not only with the Cocoon, but also then with a Hook. You have the Uther stun follow-up. This is really dangerous already looking at it. There's so many different synergies that we have at this point that are just absolutely crazy. You can dive with this with the Nuburak and try to move in, not too deep since you don't have too much follow-up, but you can just move forward, drop the Cocoon and push the opponent away from it. Stitches Hook can be followed up by a stun. You can chain stun the Nuburak and Uther stuns, and Tigers can simply burst down any kind of tank that is in the midst there. So in this case, Tyrael being picked and Malfurion again. They're really liking the Malfurion.
Yeah, they're moving a lot. The roots do give you some nice isolation, and it's a pretty strong pickup. I think once you get to the point where a majority of the main supports fall off, Malfurion is still a decent choice, and Playing Ducks seem to agree with that right now as they keep picking him up. Now, Tychus is a bit on the old school side here for Team Liquid, but one that's great for this battleground, and two, I like how he's picking it up when they see that there are multiple assassins being grabbed by the Playing Dogs on the left side. That puts you in a spot where you have to grab one tank because you're going to have to get a healer too, and Tychus can just milk tank. So suddenly Tyrael becomes one of the main options because you don't want to give too much value to that Tychus. Also, around the shrines, Odin, fantastic.
Yeah, Odin is absolutely great if you are trying to lock down a shrine. If you have a 20 minion lead, simply popping Odin usually gives you the control over the shrine right away. But when we're looking at there's nothing really too scary for the Ducks at this point. That Tyrael is going to have a rough time against what he's facing here. So he gives you a lot of value. Definitely with the Sanct.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no doubt about that sanctification is fantastic here. But at the same time, they don't have a hit point heavy tank. Their frontline sustain is really difficult, especially with Malfurion being the only healer that they have here. That's the one thing I'm a bit worried about, since I would expect during these fights that the Cocoon is most likely going to hit Malthael, and that they're trying to play around that. So it's a bit of a tricky setup for them. So it can definitely work. It's the burden of execution is on them. They have a lot of good tools with Genji that can play fantastic here, with the Greymane on top of that too. But it's definitely a much more difficult composition to play than what we are seeing on the opponent's side.
Well, let's go to Infernal Shrines here as the Playing Ducks hope on to take on Team Liquid and at least gain a victory in some way or some form. Can they pull it off, or would Team Liquid shut them out?
Next game is about to start, and we are on game number 3. And of course, potentially also our last game in the series if the Ducks cannot get back into the match. Right now, Liquid is leading with a 2-0, and to the left we have the Ducks with Sport Billy on Genji, Chris on Greymane, Nanda on Tyrael, Eternal on Malthael again, and Wolfjoe on Malfurion.
On the right side, in the red, currently up 2-0 in this series. Hasselwild's playing Tychus, Nurok on Gul'dan, Darkmok on Stitches, Blumby on a Nuburak, and Splendor playing Uther. Now, I want to ask you, Keldor, the Playing Ducks went through a phase in this battleground where they decided just to ignore the first shrine as much as possible and just push in. Can they pull that off with this type of composition? Try to go for lockdown and get the Genji in the mix?
I don't think they have the push power outside of Greymane to really do that. I really believe that at this point they are probably better off just simply focusing on the shrine here and on the team fight. First of all, they need to make sure that they're not dying in the early game though, because Chris already took severe damage after Darkmok's last hook here. It's interesting to see Darkmok now on Stitches. Lumbi with the main tank here, so to say, on the Nuburak. But ignoring the shrine, I think this is something that they most of the time did when they were looking more towards global compositions and about rotations here. I don't think that with this setup they can put the pressure onto the lanes that they really want to.
I do think there is a world where they can get picks off, because if you notice it as the opposing team, the adaptation of what's happened is instead of you focusing on the shrine, you typically take 1 or 2 people off and you try to make sure to soak all the experience. That's where Genji can be effective in getting the picks. But I think I agree with you. The Playing Ducks with their cocktail, they move in and be a bit aggressive. Their saving grace for the late game is also great for them. The Malthael, the Holy Ground's coming on, Greymane in particular, and Genji with resets. They can definitely be a scary force, but it's just a matter of how much damage can Team Liquid do if they control the shrines in the early game.
Yeah, that's one part, and another is that I think Team Liquid can easily react if there is a push happening somewhere on the map by simply keeping one on the shrine and then playing around that. So I would say with that comp, it's not really your best option. They could with Greymane at least put some pressure in and drop a few towers, but I don't think they're going to heavily commit to it. But we're going to find out now. The shrines are activating, and the teams are both about to head into level 4. At least that's the idea. And a lot of them already took a heavy amount of damage. Sport Billy here on Genji has also be careful, just tapping well now.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit hard here for the Shrine activating. 4 not quite here for both of our teams. Team Liquid will take the time to grab the experience in the middle and a kill.
There we go. Malthael down, so that's a good start. The early level 4 as well. Darkmork was anticipating a dodge attempt by Wolf Joe towards the bottom and hit the hook, but did not connect. Also, Echo Corruption has been taken for Liquid. And now the Ducks are forced to move on to the lanes because we are already seeing a severe lead in minion stacks for Team Liquid. So we're having Greymane at the top, and with a long rotation, we're having now Gul'dan making his way over. And that's the smartest thing that he could do. Malfurion was waiting in one of the shrubs just for him to pass by, and once that he can slow him down and root him into place, Greymane would have rotated down and tried to get the kill.
Good move there by Neuroth, realizing what could come his way. You know, playing Genji in the past, he knows how strong they can be, especially when you have a root set up. Playing Ducks do make a play here to move in for the Shrine phase and attempt to steal a few of these. Now, with only 3 being needed for Team Liquid, they should be able to grab this pretty easily. In fact, they're waiting for their Gul'dan to rotate in case they need his poke. But 39 hits to 9, and Team Liquid will finish the Shrine with 40 of the minions and start to push bottom.
Greymane got a bit of an experience lead for them. Nothing too crazy yet, but thanks to him soaking up at the top lane, didn't drop a tower there or anything, but he is now in a situation where he could at least do a bit of soaking and deny Liquid a couple of minions. For now, though, the pressure play at the bot lane through the red team will drop at least the 2 towers, and that should set Team Liquid up quite nicely. Nothing too crazy just yet in terms of early game experience lead here, but of course from a structural point of view, Team Liquid is doing fairly well.
They're doing pretty darn solid. Sport Billy hoping to harass a little bit here as he moves on Tychus and Blumby, but it's pulled away. And it's experience here, 7-7. And Team Liquid hopes to keep that structural integrity continue to go forward as they burn down the turret here in the middle, grabbing experience as well. And Sport Billy just shows up every time to deny them, tell them to get away from that area.
Also, one of the things that could have been awkward but hasn't really become a big problem yet is that Liquid doesn't have a dedicated solo laner. So they have to use different rotations to the top. Malthael could have taken that, but they didn't really focus on it too much just yet. And as you said, Sport Billy is just trying to be a nuisance, and he's actually pretty good at that.
Blumby harassing on the side. Root comes out. Hospital barely sneaks on by there on the Root and gets on out. And it's interesting that you bring out that solo laner. I was actually thinking about that too in the draft. One of the things that you could use a solo laner is that Tychus, but the problem is Genji being on the field. His threat of him showing up to a fight is pretty devastating. Tychus in most 1v1s can win out on the trades and of course poke pretty well. With Genji always coming in, it's going to be a bit hard. So Team Liquid just peeling off whoever they can in the middle of fights.
We have a bit of an adjustment on level 7. I actually love that we are seeing from Malthael so many different builds. We have seen the same player now on Malthael several times and different builds every time. And one of the adjustments just killed Stitches. On level 7 he went into Mortality. So every time you're actually using the Wraith Strike after damaging a hero, you do percentage damage against him as well. And against a high hit point hero as Stitches, that is doing a ton of work. And that's exactly what we just saw. So they were able to isolate Stitches and then get the kill against them. So it's a really cool adjustment from Eternal. Same player, same hero, different builds every single game, just because he makes those small adjustments depending on the opponent's composition.
This goes to show you, man, cookie cutter builds aren't always the way to go. Trying to change things up can give you a slight benefit in some way or some form, and the Ducks are benefiting pretty well from it. They're at 9.5 to 9 experience, slightly ahead of their opponents, but they can't lose Chris here. They do lose Chris, and their small advantage they have, their small window to move towards 10 before their opponents, is starting to fall.
Nice hook there against Eternal, but he's still able to get out. And you're right, cookie cutter builds, sometimes having the adjustments is fantastic, but there's this one thing that we have to highlight when we're talking about adjustment. The one thing you should use when you are trying to make an adjustment?
Your brain.
Yes, exactly. It's called common sense, and also the ability to read what a talent does. Helps a lot, especially when you're talking about those Hero League games. So think about what you're doing and why you do it, what your purpose is, and what the idea behind your build is. And that's exactly what you can take from pros. When are they making these adjustments? Why do they do that? Talking about adjustments and talking about getting kills, Genji up here to the top with the early level 10 for the Ducks is getting that kill. That was a really cool play by them. Once they hit 10, they move immediately in. You can argue that Team Liquid might have overstayed their welcome a little bit, but they have the 10 now as well, and an attempt to use the Horrify to get a kill against Sportbilly. And with a hook, they might be able to lock him down, and indeed they do.
Darkmog landing the hook there will make sure it's a 4v4, and Team Liquid already had a lead on the Shrine, and with that kill on Sportbilly, it becomes much more difficult for the Playing Ducks to fight back and take away the Shrine, especially with Tychus just now spawning, and they will give it up. Team Liquid in a spot here to grab another Shrine. Great play there by Sportbilly, but unfortunate turnaround of events, and Team Liquid gets back in the lead.
Yeah, and also they will get the Punisher, so they have a lead in experience, or should have one soon. Right now the Ducks are still slightly ahead. But I'm really liking the way that they're using Stitches here. It's, you know what that reminds me of? The way that BKB played Stitches on this map, when he basically did not always use the hook to get the initial engage, but oftentimes after the fight when someone tried to disengage from him. And with them using the Stitches as the second hero, it's very reminiscent of that. Every time they're in a battle, hook is still being kept on cooldown, and then once a hero tries to get away, immediately thrown out, and Dark Mode brings them back in.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how we've had this progression from Stitches being the one to force engages to teams trying to counter him by forcing fights to happen, but when things don't fully pan out the way you want, when you have the poke like Gul'dan and Uther healing, the re-engage becomes possible for Stitches, and that's occurring right here for Darkmog, as he's playing very similar to the BKB as you mentioned yesterday. Now, it's all about the Punisher, pushing in the middle. Going to be start bringing it down here, get it to half health. Not going to be able to do too much overall. The only way that we would see them get, okay, they're actually going to go for the full fort. I thought they would have to pop Odin to get this.
Well, Lumbi goes out, and there comes the immediate attack against Chris. He gets the heal from
Infernal.
Yeah, from Malfurion. Infernal goes in, pops the Tormented Souls. Divine Storm locking him down, and Nurok uses the Putrid Bile, but Horrify isolating Genji. Cocoon on the ground. If they can get the stuns in, they might get another kill here.
That Horrify was ridiculous here. At the same time, Nande will get picked off and burned down. Team Liquid responds back to the aggression from the Playing Ducks, and they secure 2 kills.
Serves Tyrael right.
That's not very justice, is it?
Yeah, he's such a righteous... I don't know, it's like... Doesn't that annoy you?
He's so good-willed. How dare he?
Doesn't that annoy you sometimes?
No, man.
Really?
It inspires me. I want to be good-willed. Big Tormented Souls coming in here. The Divine Storm as well, locking down the back line there from Splendor.
Just
so
look at the
Inferno, and look at the Horrify. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh, that was clean.
And they basically just cocoon after the fight is already over, just to set up another kill. So it was really well done. And Tyrael deserves this. He's always the righteous every time. Especially when I played Yahoo, it's like, oh, dude, give it a rest.
Hashtag no bias here. Glumby, though, does take claws to the face. Chris comes in, gets a kill, Cocoon being used as well. And we've gone from a match that the last couple matches have been very close in terms of kills and also very low. It's starting to become a bloodbath.
This is why I like what we're seeing from the Ducks, because yes, they are down 2 maps, but still, they play against Team Liquid and they play well, and I like that.
Yeah.
They are looking so much better and cleaner than we've seen in the past few weeks, so I think that's absolutely fantastic. Then again, let's see if they can maybe gain the victory here. They have a slight lead now when we're heading into the Shrine, so they can get slightly ahead. Question, of course, always going to be, is it enough?
Playing Ducks playing feisty, but you're right. They have to earn a victory here. Can they soar above Team Liquid?
By the way, as I make fun about Tyrael being taken out here, what is your hate hero that gives you a lot of fulfillment when you kill him?
Are we just putting all our feelings out there today?
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy killing Abathurs.
Abathurs?
Yeah.
I can get that. I would have actually thought that you'd go for the Genji here.
I do enjoy killing Genjis, especially with a Brightwing Emerald win and I pin them against the wall. It's so rare that happens, but that feels so good. Hook comes out for Sportbilly. Genji gets away, speaking about it.
Yeah, they hate him too. Yeah. So Genji immediately being hooked here, but can dash away, and the fight is just starting to rage on here. But 35 minions taken by the Ducks, and this is where Team Liquid just calls it quits and says, yeah, we're not going to get this Punisher. This is just simply not happening. So let's move away. The Punisher is lost to us one way or another, but if we lose a hero here at the top and then they take the Punisher, then we're in trouble. So let's just move away, make sure that we defend at the keep, and in the meantime, Stitches is soaking some extra experience mid just because they're hoping to get the early level 16.
Team Liquid has really good defense here between Odin and Gul'dan, so they should be able to clear that up pretty easily. I am getting worried for them though. With 16 being up for the next Shrine phase, playing Duck Spikes pretty heavily with that Holy Ground coming online, should be able to get some picks on Darkmog in particular, especially with Malthael bringing out those attacks. 16 power spike for Malthael as well, and then Greymane already starting to hit those late game spikes. this could be scary for Team Liquid if the Ducks play it right.
Yeah, and talking about playing right, what I like about the Ducks in the Sims is that when we went in the draft, I said that the burden on execution is on them. And so far, they've been playing great. They have so many things to worry about whenever they go into one of these battles. The quick stun combs that Team Liquid is known for, the Horrify that comes out, Cocoon, the hooks, and they are doing extremely well with their composition here. Genji always being ready to jump back out, Tyrael trying to protect everyone with the Sanctification. So they are doing very well. But as you said, with this 16 in particular, this match could really just switch and completely gain momentum in one direction or another within a second. It just comes down to, is there going to be that hook? Is there going to be the team fight? Is Malthea going to get his value in the big battle, for example? So I'm really liking the way this match has been evolving.
Yep. The Uther coming out with the Benediction and a stun on Genji. Yeah, there is a lot of volatile moments for both of our teams, and I think I agree with you, man. The next Shrine phase is going to be the most exciting, I think, of the game here, because it could definitely be the moment where we can see the teams explode with the ability to actually go forward and get some victories, kill off some keeps from here. Team Liquid looking at a 3-0 and playing Ducks, hoping to just get a 1 win here in this series.
We're also talking about advantages. I'm slightly disappointed that about Hazard's skin game. It's really disappointing here. I mean, Suns Out, Guns Out is still active, and we see not even a normal Tiger skin. What's wrong with you? I mean, he is very German, so it's all about the efficiency and not how he look doing it, but still, I would have expected a little bit of a spark there.
Hasselhoff's confirmed does not like skin. He hates to see skin in any way, shape, or form. Cover it up, man, with mech. If possible, close everything here if you're around Hasselhoff's.
Hasselhoff just isn't really a beach boy.
He's not into it, man. Well, playing Ducks, getting ready for an aggressive play here as the Shrine will activate in the bottom. Team Liquid has 2 forts for defense, so if they have to, they can give this up. But they would like to take it away from their opponents.
There's so many things happening right now. The Alpha Killer on Greymane. Stitches is going to have a rough time if he gets jumped. That's definitely going to become a problem. And now the Ducks have all the confidence in the world as they are fighting for the Shrine. They're starting the movement. Hazu dropping the Odin in the back already.
Now this is where I want to see how the playing Ducks are going to handle the Odin. The Odin is a scary threat here with Golden on the side, poking constantly.
Yeah, they're poking away. Hook is hitting, and it hits hard against Chris. They're locking him down with a stun, and Greymane is dead. Too late, the Sanctification of Tyrael.
Can Malthea turn this around? The fear comes out. Tyrael's being locked down. Nurok just shelling away with the Fell Flames. The Cocoon did come out, and Woof Joe is not meant for this world. He gets picked up. Dark Monk as well, taking damage at the same time. Will he fall? He's living. Splinter gives him the heal, and we're going to have the playing Ducks losing 2 members in this fight.
2 down. They don't get the counter kill against Stitches, and just barely we see Genji jumping away.
I think I get him. There we go. Blumby bringing out the Siege, and that's it. 3 people picked off. Team Liquid will be able to grab the Shrine. They do need to be aware that there is a Merc push in the top right corner. If that's left uncontested, it will take away the keep, and Stitches will head over there and clear it out. So Team Liquid destroys that team fight. It all opens with a hook. Kurtz gets brought in, and they lose out a majority of their damage.
Yeah, Stitches was so low that he had an easy time just moving back. He needed to heal anyway, so he takes over the duty to the top lane, making sure that he defends against it. But this is awesome for Liquid. They stagger the Shrine, so they make sure that they are just waiting for everybody to come back, get some mana, get hit points, and they also try and take the camp here. But playing Ducks are aggressive. They know that something's happening. And of course, the only thing that really makes sense for Liquid is trying to grab the camp here. It was a really cool thought process by the Duck. I am loving this. They were moving in, and we're trying to see if someone does the camp solo or maybe 2. If that's the case, they take the fight and they try to drop someone. That would put a lot of pressure away from the Punisher, but Liquid moves in with 4, commits them a heavy amount of resources to the camp, so the Ducks can't get any value there. But the thought process alone was fantastic.
Yeah, both teams thinking about all the elements that could happen here. Hook hits, goes for Dire Storm, and Tyrael dies. Tyrael no longer up here. Cocoon being used too. Do we have another lockdown available from Lumby? The fear comes out on Chris. He's going to walk to the top left, but Wolf Joe in trouble. So Thurnal coming in.
Yeah, he comes in and he wants the kills, and he's very likely to get 1. No, Blumby moving out. Genji with a Dragon Blade wants Norok, and he gets him, trying to make it a double. Splendor on the run. So is Dartmok. Blumby about to fall. Heal doesn't hit him. He's down. Dartmok will also fall against Chris. That Alpha Killer just doing so much work here. And the Ducks, they lose material, but they drop 3. A great trade for them.
That late game coming online for the Playing Ducks. Get the pickoffs as well, even with the member being down. Punisher will be left uncontested here until Malfurion shows up, and Malfurion does. And this will be the keep being saved. So Playing Ducks can breathe a big sigh of relief here, as they can work towards getting towards level 20. And they should be able to get close before Team Liquid gets on the next shrine.
That was absolutely fantastic for the Ducks. A great flank that they set up here, and even with Tyrael falling, he would have liked to get a little bit more value, but at least the explosion did some damage, and it allowed the rest of the team to engage in. So Team Liquid was probably pretty happy about how this initially started, but then Malthael turned it around against them quite quickly. And again, I just have to point out how strong this Greymane currently is, with a Cursed Bullet and also with the Alpha Killer on the level 16. The damage output on him against Stitches in particular is fantastic. But the main damage dealer for the team is still Malthael, and that comes down to the level 7 talent, Mortality. I pointed that out earlier, that especially against Stitches it has the value, but that percentage damage, those 4%, the way that Eternal is playing that hero right now, just jumping from one to another and always making sure that he gets the damage in with a Wraith Strike, it's really impressive. And he has been driving, especially the last team fight.
Spreading that mark everywhere here as the Reaper continues to really destroy in team fights. And 19 3/4 almost here for Ducks. They're going to hit 20 before the next Shrine phase, which means we will have a 20-on-20 fight for the next Shrine. Very exciting between our two teams. Team Liquid with the smallest of windows are hoping to move forward and open up this keep on the bottom left, but fearful for maybe the Playing Ducks to answer back with their own keep. They're going to go ahead and back.
Yeah, it is a rough situation right now for the two teams, because it comes down to a last team fight that we're seeing. And it's all a question of how much of an impact Malthael can have. Ysera's gift, by the way, has been picked up on Malfurion, the guy with the beard, on level 16.
Oh, that one. I was a little confused. I don't know which one that was.
It is this time literally the only one with the beard. I guess that's not true. Greymane has one as well. Well, on the Duck side, we don't know about Malthael. I don't ever think I've seen his face. Maybe he has one, maybe he doesn't.
What if their entire face
Genji,
is just a beard?
You know, Genji, I actually think has a mustache.
Probably does.
Yeah, he probably does. I think Genji is Italian. He's just pretending to be Japanese.
What?
I don't know. I can
20.
picture him with a Mario and Luigi mustache. That's what I'm seeing. He's just a pretender.
Oh!
That lockdown, that is... Oh my god.
That's devastating.
Liquid is perfect. It doesn't get any better than that. That was the perfect hook.
If they kill Chris, this could be game here. And they do kill Chris.
I think this is already over.
They go for Wolf Joe. He's killed off as well. That's 3 dead. The hook opens the fight. Nande in trouble. Nande escaping. But you're right. It's looking like it's game over already.
It's the one target that couldn't die. It's literally the one hero that you could not lose. If you lose Tyrael, for example, you get still some explosion value, but if you lose Malthael, this is immediately over. I've been talking for the last 2 minutes about how much of an impact Malthael has in those team fights, and the one hook that Team Liquid gets is exactly against him. They blow him up, he has no chance to even drop his ult, and that is immediately the end of the game.
I mean, he still had an impact in that fight. Him dying means that he's not able to actually defend, and Team Liquid gets a win. That's a big impactful moment for Team Liquid. Team Liquid turns around and goes straight for the core, and with no one being up for 10 seconds, Malthael in particular, they're hoping to get the win now. And
Malthael, I mean, he picked Final Curtain on 20. He could have gone into No One Can Stop Death, but he didn't, so he couldn't even go for the buyback here. Right now, we have the core just dropping, and Liquid is finishing what they started. 14 kills against 6, and this is GG as Team Liquid gets the 3-0 victory over the Playing Ducks at HGC, Rob.
Team Liquid with a 3-0, and they'll continue to jump around in the standings for now. Another victory for them. Their hopes for the Western Clash continue to be alive, and I'm excited to see where they continue to go here. Today came out with a nice 3-0, but I also want to say the Playing Ducks looked a little bit more decisive than we have seen them in the last couple weeks. I liked what they showed today. They could have won 2 of the maps that we've seen here, and it was well done by Team Liquid. They had, again, the hook. I actually thought that there's a good chance that Liquid is going to lose the last team fight, but that setup, just getting that one isolation against Malthael, was absolutely perfect. But I like what we've seen from the Ducks today. Yes, they haven't won a map, so just if you look at the result on paper, it was dominant by Team Liquid, and they played great, don't get me wrong. But considering that we had the Ducks struggling so much over the last 2 weeks, I really think for them this was one of those performances where they can look at the games and say, yes, we lost the series, but this was much better play than what we showed in the weeks before. If we can just
take it from here, improve a little bit more, they will have a much better rest of the season and look a bit better towards a potential Crucible.
I'm so interested to see how they're going to keep moving forward because we've been seeing them run a lot of double support in the last couple of weeks. Today they had a little bit more aggressive compositions, looking for those hooks, for those lockdowns, those blow-ups. Where is our meta currently sitting in Europe? Is double support the way to go? Is blow-up comms the way to go? I love that we have so much variety and we see different playstyles from same teams every other week.
We had one weekend where double support was just the playstyle. And now it's still super important. We still see a lot of double support, but it has come to a point where a lot of teams are willing to go into non-double support comps, especially since you have certain counters against it. We've seen the impact that Malthael can have against a double support composition when it's not relying on Tassadar, who is, of course, getting his power through shields. But when it's up, for example, when you have Uther Oriel, Malthael into that can do a whole lot of work just with the level 7 talent alone. So there's a lot of room to work with. Also, we had a few teams focus a bit more on the map manipulation and on the macro game. So it's actually really cool to see that evolve over week 2 of the next one.
Yeah, you can tell all of our team, they're just putting in a lot of work here to make sure that they can climb to the top here. And the top has been quite the climb for them. I still don't know sure where I'm going to put Team Liquid in the top 4. I think for now, I think I'm actually willing and okay to say Expert is in the top 4 no matter what. Next game for sure will let me get an idea if I think they should be up there with everyone.
How was that now a new statement?
What do you mean a new statement?
Expert has literally been in the top 4 since this league started.
You can say things like there's a top 3 with Expert hanging around the outside now, but now I actually just want to say there's a top 4 no matter what. And yes, you're right.
You
Expert
do realize,
in standings.
wait, I have to rub that in a little bit more. You do realize that Expert in first phase lost literally one series outside of the big 3.
Oh, really? Dang, I must have missed that.
You don't listen to me. I talked about it last.
It's hard. It's hard. Well, we have actually a member from Team Liquid here, Blumby. How is it going, man?
Hello. And what's going on with the beard, dude?
I don't know.
Is it good luck?
I don't know.
Does that stay? Don't say I don't know now.
I don't know.
I want an answer.
I mean, I didn't have time to shave. I had to practice, and so.
I think it looks good. Just go around a little bit there. You'll be good to go. Blumby, welcome to the show. Congratulations on your victory today. And I just want to hear it from the horse's mouth, man. What is the state of Europe, and where is the state of Team Liquid for you guys? Where are you guys sitting right now in all the standings, and how do you guys feel?
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Like nobody knows what's going on in Europe right now. To be fair, like I don't want to take anything away from Tricked, but I think we just had a pretty bad day. Honestly, I think we had an off day, and we had also trouble practicing last week because Nurok was sick, so we missed like 2 days of practice, and I think it hurt us quite a bit. Like I think anyway it would have been a close series against Tricked, but I think like that the 0-3, it was a bit heartbreaking, but for sure. But I mean, let's talk about today's series. I guess today it went better again. 3-0 is actually what we expected also against Tricked, or I guess 3-1 or 3-2 at least. But
well, it seems like you guys aren't so adamant about the whole double support right away, too. You guys are switching it up a little bit, bringing the stitches into the compositions. How is the meta forming for Europe right now? We're seeing more macro play, more hook compositions coming out.
I wish I knew what the meta game is right now, the best meta, because it's so crazy. Like we see Zul even picked, you know, in Hero League, like Zul is picked every second game and just winning games all the time. And I don't know what's going on, if it's like a top tier pick or not. And I don't know what the current, like the real best current meta is right now. I honestly feel like it's just pick what you're best at. And if it's not working, just adapt some picks and see if it works. And yeah, pick up stuff that other teams do like we did. Like we picked a lot more stitches today because we got wrecked by Tricked. We got tricked, I guess. So we picked up some more stitches. And as you can see, Darkmo can play him just as well. And
awesome.
Did fine.
Well, I don't know. The interview continues here. I'm going to send you over to Caldor.
So first of all, congratulations again. I have a couple of questions, and the first one is about Malthael. So we had, of course, the opinions of most of the teams already as the hero came into play, but today the Ducks played him every single game, and it felt a bit like, especially on the last map, you guys had problems dealing with Malthael. You got a really cool hook in at the end of the game against the perfect target there. Where do you think Malthael stands right now? Where do you think he fits in the meta, and how much of a threat is he actually?
If I was the main drafter for Team Liquid, I would pick this hero every game because I think it's super broken. You I think if you play well around him and play and pick the right picks around Malthael, you can honestly win every team fight, especially in mid to late game. And like besides maybe some pick off compositions with Gorge Gust against Fnatic, that's different. That's not team fighting. That's picking off, you know. But real team fights, I mean, in that sense, I think Malthael is probably the strongest hero in the game right now, or one of the strongest for sure. And I think we will see him a lot more also in the upcoming weeks. And just his sustain and damage he can deal is just absurd. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, he had a that was actually a really insane game, especially at the end. I mean, we talked about one fight where you isolate Tyrael, you get a kill, then Malthael comes in and all of a sudden turns the fight around. How happy were you guys when that hook was hit against Malthael in the last team fight? I mean, that immediately won you the battle, didn't it?
Yeah, we were really happy. Like, Darkmok said, oh, I get the Malthael. He was like super confident, just shouting, we kill Malthael, and just hooking. And it's just, that's just Darkmok, you know? He's this player who does these clutch plays. He's just, you know, there are these players in Europe who can just do such stuff. And it is probably sad for them because I think they had a good chance to win that last fight. They had huge power spikes as well with the Malf. I guess, no, he didn't go for the Blink Silence. He went for the Storm Shield. But they had, anyway, a really good late game. And Tyrael with the Q on Shrine is also dangerous for everyone, for Stitches as well. He can basically not walk in because he will get, like, wholly grounded. So, yeah. We had to get a hook, I guess, to win a fight, or at least to make it easier to win. And Darkmok just got the hook, and he played pretty well today. So I'm proud of him.
I mean, you guys play fantastic. But I also want to ask you one question about the next series that we have here today. We see Expert going up against Fnatic, and of course, that's also a match that affects you guys to a certain extent. Everybody fighting for those Western Clash spots. What do you expect from that series, and especially how strong do you think Expert is right now?
We scrimmed Expert every day last week, and I think they are really strong right now. I think they are really confident from the victories they had in the HGC, and they start to, just be a real contender, I guess. And you can see it in the standings. They are second right now, I think.
Yeah.
And it will be probably 3-1 or 3-2 if I don't misjudge their meta game completely and they just get... I don't know, because Fnatic is such a good team. They have the best execution, I think, out of all teams.
Wait. I have to follow up on this. 3-1 or 3-2 for whom?
For Fnatic.
Okay.
I mean, that's they are the world champions. It's always like, of course, Fnatic. But
I mean, they are the favorite, but just from the way you said it for a moment, did he just say that Expert 3-1's Fnatic here?
Yeah, I was thinking too fast and talking probably not too clearly there. Sorry, my bad.
But where would you see them in the standings towards the end of the phase, or towards the Western Clash? Where would you say they are right now within the top 4 that we're talking about all the time? Hard-hitting questions today, I know.
Poor Blumby.
I'd say, like, I don't know. So I honestly think Dignitas is on the way up. Like, I think they overvalued double support, and now they are back to their old style, and they will be fine again, like top 2, top 3. Expert, I would still put in the 4th slot, especially because they still have to play against Fnatic and us, and they are high in the standings now, but they have to play against Fnatic and us still. And I mean, if they lose both, they will be the 4th. But in my opinion, I think they are 4th still, and then it's still the old top 3. That's at least what I think still, if everything goes how I think.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for allowing us to pick your brain for a long duration here. Before I let you go, you have the floor for shout-outs, so feel free.
Shout-outs to everyone who supports us from, I don't know, Twitch chat, I guess, and everyone who watches, and also family and friends who are watching. Thank you for all the support. We appreciate it. Also, when we fail sometimes, I know that we have a lot of fans that stand behind us, and it's awesome. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Congratulations to Team Liquid for the victory at 3-0 over the Playing Ducks. And they'll continue to move